Gabby, the happy holiday girl. Who says you have to wait until certain times of the year to get to celebrate? When every day's a holiday, we can combat stress and have more opportunities to have fun with our friends and family. Come, celebrate with me, and together we can live a holiday life. Hey, what's good, holiday lifers? It's your girl Gabby, and today is National Popcorn Day. Pop, pop, pop. Who doesn't love the smell of popcorn with its buttery, sugary, salty, sweet goodness, permeating throughout our homes and tempting and beckoning us to come closer to grab a handful, scarf them down our mouth, and enjoy whatever TV show or movie we were watching. Popcorn is something that is so great because it's something that can be shared amongst ourselves. Popcorn is shareable. You can make one big batch. Everyone can dive in with their hands and enjoy. It's a treat that makes every occasion just a little bit better. Popcorn has been around since literally 3600 BC, according to wikipedia.org, and was domesticated as much as 10,000 years ago. And I know that this is not a scary movie podcast, but apparently we are all children of the corn. That was pretty funny. That was my corny joke of the day, guys. Hopefully you all got it and enjoyed it. But needless to say, popcorn is a great accessory to match any occasion. And with that being said, we are going to enjoy today's National Popcorn Holiday. You all know that I like to start off every one of my podcasts with a quote of the day, and today's no different. Today, our quote is by Orville Redenbacher himself, and this is what it says. Every once in a while, someone will mail me a single popcorn kernel that didn't pop. I'll get out a fresh kernel, tape it to a piece of paper, and mail it back to them. And that was by Orville Redenbacher, the famous popcorn businessman. And the reason I picked that quote was because in life, there may be times where people want to pick out the one mistake that you made and try to harp on that and live on that and make that who you are. But quite frankly, not every one of Orville Redenbacher's popcorn kernels popped. That did not mean that his popcorn was no good. It meant that there were a couple duds in there. And in life, guys, sometimes there are a few failures. Sometimes everything we do does not turn out perfectly. Quite frankly, at this moment in time, guys, this is podcast number 100 for me. A combination between my A Holiday Life podcast and Holiday Trivia podcast. And guys, I'll be very honest with you. I am getting a bit of podcast fatigue at this moment during my recording of this podcast right now. And I say that to tell you that my goal is to do a whole year's worth of podcast. But in this moment, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to complete the challenge or not. I'm not sure if I'm going to fail. But you know what? Even if I were to fail, it's okay, because not every one of our ventures that we set off on, it might not always be a success. Every time you pop a bag of popcorn, you're guaranteed to have a couple old maids thrown in there, some of those kernels that just don't pop. And that doesn't mean that the whole bag was ruined. It doesn't mean that this whole excursion of podcasting was a complete waste of time or a failure. It may just transition to a different kind of interest or a different avenue that later leads to success in life. Now, with that being said, I have no intention of stopping my podcast right now. I'm just being a little bit honest. Your podcaster, Happy Holiday Girl, she's feeling a little bit tired right now and a little bit vulnerable and unsure about if I'm able to complete the challenge. But that's okay, because not every moment in our life is completely known every day. No matter how much you plan it, no matter how much you put forth intention to have everything scheduled and work out exactly how you want it to. We don't live in a universe where we completely control every single portion of our day. We can do all we can do, but sometimes life throws us those old dud popcorn kernels that just don't pop. And so today I wanted to give you that message. I wanted you to know that put forth many popcorn seeds, because many of them will flourish and prosper. But no, there will be a couple duds in there as well. So when planning out your activities, your life, your investments, it's good to have a diverse portfolio, if that's what you want to call it, because not every venture is guaranteed to be a success, but that doesn't mean that you don't try. It doesn't mean that we don't put the popcorn bag in the microwave or on the stove, however you decide to make your popcorn. but it does mean that knowing that not everything will be perfect or a success all the time, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have multiple career options or multiple relationship options. If you are dating and you're not quite sure about the person you're with, you gotta have options, and that's okay. So hopefully that all made sense from my Orville Redenbacher popcorn quote. And as you all know, I also have gotten accustomed to adding one of my holiday trivia podcast episode questions in for you all as well. I like to try to add a little bit of fun trivia in with this podcast as well. So here is an excerpt of my holiday trivia podcast, brand new, popped right out of the microwave for you. Here it goes. Question number 2 is a movie question. Which of these 1980s movies features a house being demolished by an explosion of popcorn? Was it A, National Lampoon's Vacation, B, Diner, C, Gremlins, or D, Real Genius? Once again, which of these 1980s movies features a house being demolished by an explosion of popcorn? Was it A, National Lampoon's Vacation, B, Diner, C, Gremlins, or D, Real Genius? And the answer is D, Real Genius. I've never seen more than the clip that is referenced for this scene, but if you Google the movie Real Genius popcorn scene and you watch it, it's a pretty stellar display of what happens when you tempt God with an oversized bowl of popcorn. Guys, that scene in the movie was absolutely hilarious. Now, I myself am actually an 80s baby, so watching that movie myself was not something that I had ever been exposed to because I was a bit too young for that. But watching the excerpt of it on YouTube was so funny because I never would have imagined the amount of popcorn that it took, guys, to make that scene happen. I don't even know. I have no clue. I imagine the people on the set of that movie were eating popcorn for weeks. If not, I hate to think of the amount of popcorn that was wasted because if you click on YouTube, you go and watch the actual scene, they made popcorn burst out of the front door of that guy's house. That's enough said. Find the link, find the video, watch it for yourself. You will be thoroughly entertained, and who knows, hopefully you don't have nightmares of popcorn bursting out of your front door. I guess it wouldn't really be a nightmare because it's kind of a tasty treat, so yeah, actually, hopefully you do have good dreams tonight of popcorn bursting through your front door. You can thank me for that later. And to give you a little bit more of a fun fact about popcorn on this National Popcorn Day, here's a fun fact, and it is this. The water inside the popcorn kernel is what makes it pop. When the kernel is heated up, the steam inside is what pops the corn. And I like that little fun fact because once again, going back into my treasure trove of infinite wisdom, I like to think that each one of us has our own water reserve inside of us that keeps us refreshed, refilled, and nourished. And so it's important that we don't let that internal water reservoir run dry. We need to be nourishing ourselves on a regular basis. But what's interesting is with the popcorn, that little internal water reserve, that life, that burst of energy, that's what makes it popped when given a little bit of pressure, a little bit of heat. So maybe, just maybe, the heat of this podcast, I'll pop and I'll blossom into a wonderful podcaster, motivational speaker, world traveler of the holidays. Or maybe I will just be a better mommy and a bit more entertaining to be around for a while. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure whatever comes of this will be what's best for me. So remember the lesson of the popcorn kernel. It's the water inside that makes the difference. In your life, keep your well of life refreshed. Make sure you stay renewed and nourish your soul daily. It's that water reservoir and the heat applied that will make you pop and blossom into who you are meant to be. And now it's time for our activity of the day. Guys, I think this one's pretty straightforward. Make sure you make an epic bowl of popcorn. We actually have in my home this, you can get off of Amazon. My husband actually found it. It's this red large bowl and it compresses. It gets really small if you need to fit it into your cabinet or into a small place, but I like it. It's collapsible and you fill it with your butter, salt. I like a little bit of sugar on my popcorn. I like the kettle corn type of popcorn, but fill it with whatever makes you happy. Stick it in your microwave and it makes a perfect bowl of popcorn in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I really enjoy that. Or if you would prefer the non-microwaved route, go ahead and put something on top of the stove and watch the popcorn kernels pop. Also another fun activity you can do with your kids today. So, what do you think? Are you willing to let your water reservoir help you blossom and pop into the wonderful human being you are meant to be today? Head on over to aholidaylife.com now for more holiday fun. There you can sign up to receive a free monthly calendar full of fun holiday activities for every day. You can also leave me a voicemail of what you're doing to celebrate the holiday. You might be on my next episode. Also, if you like my podcast, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. You can follow me on social media by using @aholidaylife on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and @aholidaylife podcast on Instagram. And for more holiday fun, head on over to my exclusive content holiday trivia podcast to give my trivia questions a shot. If you get 3 or more out of 5 questions correct, you're well on your way to becoming a holiday lifer. Until next time, keep celebrating the holidays, stay safe, and live a holiday life. I'll talk to you tomorrow.